Hello, people. What is going on? Welcome back to E20 Zone TV on this Monday evening. Hope everyone is all good out there and had a very good weekend wherever you are out on the planet. It's been a lot going on over West Ham over the last sort of 48 hours, but you know what? I'm here to talk about it. The link is in the chat. Anyone wants to come on, chuck your comments in the comment section. Anything you want to ask, fire away. I've got quite a lot to discuss, if I'm being honest. Have West Ham turned the corner? Is this the start of the sort of recovery mission that Nuno's got to deal with right now? Obviously, the ownership protests and things that are happening with that. The rumours that are also going around that apparently we're going to get a change at board level. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, with that, right? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yeah, I'll be very shocked if Sullivan's out the door by the end of January. Apparently, that's what it is. So, but I'm here to discuss it. So, chuck your comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. And, we'll get into it. Right. I'll tell you what, I'll start off at the beginning. Obviously, Saturday was a very good result. Right. First things first, great result. We needed a win. We got the win. We come back from a losing position. We're getting like starting to become an habit now. Do you know what I'm saying? Of us keep going a goal down and coming back and spinning it around. But nevertheless, that's what we've done. And we are back-to-back winners. You know what I'm saying? And we don't usually say that very often. Obviously, the aftermath of that has been good. Yeah. There is a few things that I am going to discuss on tonight's video. Celebrities that are involved with West Ham and so much other stuff, mate. But listen, before I get started, smash a like on the video. It goes a long way, really helps me out. And subscribe to the channel. Let's get to Sid. Good evening, James. Enjoyed the march Saturday, proper West Ham fans. Yes, mate. It was pretty good from what I heard. Obviously, I didn't go, but the video that got sent to me was pretty special, really. I see the video in the WhatsApp group, and I asked the gentleman in question and said to him, "Is it okay if I use that video to like post it out?" And I'm going to be honest, on TikTok, it's got over 250,000 views, I think it is. Right, so it's quite a lot, and there's so many fans from other clubs saying, "Well done, West Ham, well done for protesting against the board." And the thing is, the way we're doing it now was the right way. Sullivan's buckling at a point, and people think that we're going to get a change. Yeah, I don't think Sullivan's going to go down as easy as what people think he's going to go down. That's just my opinion. I'll be very shocked if Sullivan buckles after 6 months. Right, I will be. Do you know what I mean? I think this is lined up for Brady to be thrown firmly under the bus, which will be a pleasure because that slag has ruined this club and all. So I can see her being thrown under the bus before anything else. The only issue I've got with the ownership at the minute, which I am a bit concerned about, is if Sullivan does decide to leave, which we all want, which is the right thing to do, who is going to come in and take over, or is he going to allow Jack to run the show for him? Do you know what I mean? Because that's a little bit of a concern. I want them all gone. I want all the Sullivan clan out of West Ham as soon as possible. But I personally think it's Brady. If I'm having a punt, it's, and as I've always said on here, right? Sullivan runs the show at West Ham, right? So Sullivan will do what he has to do. And listen, we all know he likes to throw people under the bus. So we will see with that. Right, let's get to Evan. Evening, James. Hope the pressure remains on Sullivan, makes life uncomfortable for him. That's what it is, mate. That's what it is. Cockney Charmer. Evening, James. Stuart says, evening, James. Let's get to his comment. There's no harm in wanting the best for your club. Your owners should have your club as their number one interest if they are an owner. I completely agree. With you on that. Sullivan doesn't have his best interests at West Ham. It's all about the pound note with him. Always has been. Always will be. One thing I will say about it with Sullivan is he's gonna. I'm enjoying him suffering. Let's put it like that, because that prick's made us suffer for 10 years. He really has. I'm going to hold the mic because I'm far away, but he's made us suffer for 10 years since the move. Do you know what I mean? He's lied to this fan base for the last 10 years. Um, when he arrived in 2010, I was like, I heard stories from Birmingham City fans, but I wasn't sort of like, didn't really didn't really bother me sort of thing. I was like, well, he's here. Let's see what he can do. Over the last 10 years, this guy's just blagged it, and blagged it consistently over the last 10 years. And for me, I can't wait for this geezer to fuck off out of this club and down the road. I simply can't. I don't want to see this geezer anywhere near our club anymore. And Brady's another one. All of them, really. They're, they're not good for West Ham United. And I'm starting to see a little bit of a media shift, right? Which I don't like. And I'm going to mention it right now. I see that thing about Mark Wright the other day. And obviously, I was over the moon on Saturday with the result. And then on Sunday, Sky Sports decided to get Mark Wright on. And he starts mentioning about the protest and saying about the people that are protesting are negative. And once West Ham start winning a few games, right, it will all die down. Well, as I said on the video last night, that I'd done a little short when I was walking around trying to get a Chinese out in the middle of the sticks. If you don't understand what it is, Mark, don't fucking comment on it. It's quite simple, really. Do you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people, me included, who have been monitoring Sullivan for a long time. And we know how this prick works now. People's eyes are firmly open to the David Sullivan, this is what you're playing at routine. Do you know what I mean? He can't throw anyone else under the bus. Who else can he blame now? That is why, if I'm going to be honest, I think it's Brady. I think Karen Brady will be thrown under the bus, and it'll be Brady will get the brunt of what the protests are doing. But listen, Brady's one thing. Sullivan's a different level, right, for me. And he's the one that we have to get out because he dictates the fucking plays at West Ham. Always has done. Ever since the last sort of 6-7 years, right, when I was sort of watching what he was up to, just some of the shit he comes out with is just fucking borderline of criminal offence. But what it is, people don't look at it like that because they will hear it, they will read about it in the newspaper, look at it online, and they will forget about it. Maybe I'm sad. Maybe I'm a sad person because I've sort of monitored it and the bait and switch stuff that he does. And I've always said, if you protest against the ball, and that's why on Saturday, I felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? It choked me a little bit Saturday when I see that video of that army, because that's what it was, an army of West Ham fans walking down Stratford. This is the beginning of the end of David Sullivan. It's as simple as that, right? And this is what I've always wanted. I've always said we need to come together. We need to not get on each other's backs. We need to have a firm action, and the action is get David Sullivan out of this club. I don't believe the rumours because all they are rumours at the minute. That's all they are. And I hear it all the time. Every time there's an international break, there's a rumour about a takeover or Sullivan leaving or Brady leaving or the fucking chef's leaving or someone's leaving the club, right? All I'm going to say is this. I need to see Sullivan in his car down the road, and that's it. That's all I want, right? I don't care when it is, as long as it happens. But it has to happen sooner rather than later, and I think it will. But I don't think it's going to be as easy as what we think. You know what I mean? I think it's got to be it's going to have to be another 3 or 4 of these big protests. And the numbers have got to start going up, and eventually he will have to buckle because I don't think he's got nowhere else to run. If I'm being honest, so let's get to this comment. I made my mind up totally and utterly. I make my mind up totally and utterly in Jan. They left us short in the summer. Mate, they always leave us short. Every single time they leave us short. Like, Sullivan is short. Do you know what I mean? So he's fucking used to it. Listen, right? Or the one thing I'm going to say about the team is one thing, right? And the support for the team is pretty strong at the minute. These last 2 games have been 2 big results, right? Especially like the Burnley game. We needed to win that game. And I feel confident more now than I did 2 weeks ago after the Leeds game. After the Leeds game, I was devastated. Deep down, I was absolutely devastated. I was like, could this club be going down? into the Championship because there was nothing about us. But one thing with Nuno is that he's trying. He really is trying. He's trying his hardest to make sure that West Ham can be a force in the league. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. Right, let's get to a few of your comments. Amen. Going is a note enough. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. The march reminded me of Upton Park. Just felt different. West Ham, London, my arse. We will always be united. That's exactly it, mate. That's exactly it. And that's what the United has to stand for. Something. It was too much West Ham, but not enough United. There's still people out there that will criticise it. There's still, I've seen it the other day. Someone mentioned it on Twitter, who's a well-known face in social media, saying, "Oh, I'll be at the game after the protests and all that." And I understand it. Like, some people don't want to take their kids there and things like that. I get that, but you know, it's one of them ones at the minute. Like, you just got to go through the motions of trying to get him out. One thing I will say is Hammers United are doing a brilliant job. They really are. They really, really are. I think Paul Goldman is doing something that was always needed at this club, and he's bringing the fan base together for the greater good. I did like the coughing and the speeches and all that. That was quite tongue in cheek, as Cockney tongue in cheek sort of banter. But the sentiment and the message is loud and clear. Right? If you continue to allow Sullivan to keep destroying this club, he will destroy it. Do you know what I'm saying? Sullivan doesn't do anything good by West Ham. Not one thing. He doesn't invest no money into this club. He's not looking for this club to be great. He's looking at this club to be contained. And you know what? We don't want that no more. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, right, as I've always said, and many people have always said, he has got a choice. He can make his own choices, and he could go, you know what? Maybe it is time for me to go because this club is going backwards. Do you know what I'm saying? He won't do that. That's why I do believe it's Brady that's going to be thrown firmly under the bus. It'd be Brady out before Sullivan. Sullivan will be the last piece of the jigsaw. He will get her out, and then he will look at blaming other fucking people. But you know, well, would it be them too late? That's the real question. Let's get to this one. James, what do you think of the media and that Mark Wright trying to downplay the numbers and pushing Sullivan's narrative? This is the only thing I worry about, mate, because the media has started to change a little bit. I have noticed it. They're getting people on who are more looking at the protest as a problem rather than a solution, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think Sullivan's back is massively firmly against the wall now. Right, and Mark Wright's just a fucking plum. It's as simple as that. Also, another plum is Alex Crook from Talk Sport, because I exposed him on Saturday, which was fucking great. Also, he decides to put this post out. Now, I'm going to show you the post that he put out, and it's quite laughable, really. Like, that you've got a journalist who doesn't report the fucking news properly. Do you know what I'm saying? But we will get there. We will get there, and we will get after these people. Well, let's have a look. Let's go and have a look. Where are we? Right, here we go. Right, this is Alex Crook. Right, Talk Sports very own Alex Crook, journalist. He's in the public domain. He's got a duty of care to report the news. Now, he reports that is the protest. Right? West Ham fans protesting outside the London Stadium, right? And he basically sort of turns it that is the protest. Now, when Alex done that, I turned around and said, right, that's the protest. Why don't you put the real picture up of the fan base walking down and people walking down and seeing it? Do you know what I'm saying? Why they are there, right? And why these people are trying to sort of blag it a little bit. I'm not going to allow that to happen, mate. Mate, I'm not going to allow that to happen, right? Because there's too many fucking liars in this media game. There's too many lies in this fucking YouTube game, let alone the media game. And if I'm there, I'm gonna fucking pull them up on it big time. So Alex Crook puts that out, and then I think that interaction, I think his one got about 60,000, and my one, let's have a look. When I post it, right, his one got 172,000 sort of interactions, right? Because people were saying, "Oh, is that it?" Like there was rival fans and fans of other clubs up north and like saying, "Oh, is that it?" Right? And when I put mine out, it was 70,000. So like that's the real truth. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, so it in regards to this ownership, we just got to buy our time. They're under pressure now, and it's not a case of if when they go, it's a case of when. Um, James, it's all mainstream media. It's control. It is control, mate, completely. Do you know what? That's why I'm so glad that I won't get into the media game. I really wouldn't. Maybe I'm in the media game doing this, but I think it's disgusting that they're fucking lying for their teeth. And you know what? I don't understand why. Just report it as it is. But the problem is when you've got someone who has had control of the media, and someone told me this a long time ago. They said, James, years and years ago, Sullivan used to have run some newspapers. I think it's the Daily Sport, I think it was, or Daily Star. I can't remember which one it was. And obviously, he's got media people in and around the scenes. Do you know what I'm saying? He's had it his way for too long, massively too long, Sullivan. So he ain't gonna have it too long for anymore because at the end of the day, there's too many people now on board with this, and the tide is starting to turn. Oliver, I will let you on in a little while, mate. I'm telling you, the media are totally against us. It's disgusting. Yeah. The BBC is the worst. Yeah, they're all bad, mate. They're all bad. Let's have a look, see what else we got here. Should have given Pot of the summer. Imagine Nuno with a summer window. Yeah, but listen, we can't go back to that, mate. Let's get to the cat. 61, 64. The protest cannot be short term or short and start. Oh, no, stop and start, sorry. But as long as they are sustained protests over the course of time, we will win. By the way, the protests are actually bringing us together. They are bringing us together, mate. They are. And the protest will work in the end of getting Sullivan out the door. I don't believe that it's going to be as quick as what people think it is. As I say, I'll be extremely shocked if come January Sullivan decides to leave West Ham. I don't see that one. I really don't. If I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, right, first things first, he's going to throw Brady under the bus. That's the easy one to get out the door straight away. Because what he will do, he'll throw her under the bus and then he will try and turn it in a way to say, well, I've got rid of one person, yeah, in the board, right? Aren't you happy now? No, David Sullivan, we're not happy because we don't want you here because you're the one that we don't want. Do you know what I mean? Brady's just a puppet. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's going to take a bit longer to get Sullivan out, right? It wouldn't surprise me if it takes us about 18 months to get him out. And that's not even no joke. And people are saying it's going to come January. I'll take bets. DM me. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'll be very shocked if Sullivan decides to have enough after 4 protests. Do you know what I mean? After about 14, 15 protests, I think, yeah, maybe you've had enough, but not after 4. Not after 4. Right, let's get to this. Cut corners on it, and you'll want to move them in a year, like Krug, like Skamaka. You're not losing dough in the long run. I don't know what that's about, but I seriously believe Nuno can deliver us something special under his appointment for the club, but he needs to have some serious backing from the board. This is the $1 million question, mate. Is he going to get backed in the summer? Like in the winter window, Sullivan doesn't really buy people in the winter window. It's usually loans. I can see West Ham loaning a few players in the January window because West Ham always sort of don't really spend in the January window. It's always in the summer. It all depends on where West Ham are, right? My theory is if West Ham are say 16th in the league and they are out of relegation dogfight, and Nuno's got West Ham playing a little bit, can I see Sullivan going out there and spending the money to make sure that West Ham are out of danger? No, I can't see it. I simply can't see it. I can't see Sullivan going out there and dropping 60 mil. And I can see him loaning a few players. I can see him loaning like Kobe Mainu. I can see him loaning Xerxes or someone like that. I can see that happening. I can't see him going out and dropping money on top players. I just don't see it. Especially if he's looking to leave. If he's looking to leave, then he's 100%. Like, why would you go and spend 60 million if you're going to be selling up in a month's time? Doesn't make no sense to me. So I think it's a matter of time before anything like that happens. But I do agree with Damien on this. I don't want to deal with Manchester United, nor do I really. I don't know what you guys think on Mainu or Xerxes. I think he's going to sell players. Like, I think James Ward-Prowse will probably be gone. I think Andy Irving will probably be gone. I think Krug will probably be gone. So he will generate the funds. The issue is he doesn't generate enough funds for me, right, in order to deliver what we need. And we're not out the woods by any stretch of imagination. Like, listen, it's 2 wins out of 2, great, but the next 4 are massive. If West Ham don't pick up any points in the next 4, then we're back to square one again. So, you know, after what they did, to us with Longa refusing to sell us, we shouldn't deal with them again. Yeah, yeah. Where is the money for the centre back that went to Marseille? Oh, and then for Gued, I think that was spent on. Who was that spent on? That was money that went towards Debo, mate. I think. I'm sure it was. So, well, we have to pay someone to take Irving. We have to do something, mate, don't we? After what they did, oh, okay, I'm reading these wrong, mate. I think Kadinsky and Trip Smith could be key to putting more pressure on Sullivan. As proper businessmen, they will hate the bad publicity. The issue is, it's all going to fall back to when he wants to go, mate. Because Sullivan will look at it and go, well, I'm not being forced out. Don't forget, he's a stubborn bastard, David Sullivan, right? And that's what we've got to realise, that he's an old, stubborn geezer who doesn't like to be told what to do, and he likes to be in control of all the surroundings and the situation. Now, in that regard, I don't think Kadinsky, because don't forget, Kadinsky's only an investor. That's all he is. And Trip Smith hasn't really got he's got a small percentage in the club. So, there has to be a difference now. Simple as that. The money was spent on more cosmetic and scaffolding for the bouncy boobs. Yeah. What you see's in her, mate, I don't know. Personally, I think Kadinsky's happy to sit back and collect paychecks and too busy with Raw Mail, but that's my take. I just don't think he has a say, mate, if I'm being real. Even though he's I think he's second majority shareholder now, right? It's like everything. He doesn't have the final say. So whatever the final say is, he ain't going to have it, Kadinsky. It all falls back to Sullivan. But the cracks are starting to appear now, and the sooner that goes on, the better. The issue is now, and this is the main thing, is what Mark Wright said the other day when he said about once we start winning a few games, does this change? Right? I hope not. I hope not. I hope when, say, West Ham go and win another couple of games, and say they organise a protest for, let's have a think, Aston Villa. I'm going to use Aston Villa as a prime example. Aston Villa on the 14th of December. Let's just say that's a protest day before Christmas, and say West Ham are doing all right. Does the attitude change around sort of protesting, and it's more about supporting the team? You're doing both, really. You know what I mean? You're protesting because you want better for this club and you are supporting the team. And I'm going to be honest, the atmosphere on Saturday against Burnley, right? You could hear it through the TV where I was when I was watching it. I was like, fucking hell, like that's better. That's the best atmosphere that I've heard, right? Especially at the LS. And people were telling me the atmosphere weren't too bad over there. So, you know, we're going to get there. Uh, why hasn't Jay been on recently? They're all busy, mate. And I've asked them on so many times about coming on, and they're always so busy. So, I'm here on me Jack Jones. But they know where I am, and if they want to come on, they've only got to message me. It's as simple as that. What we got? Mark Wright is a tool. The only opinion I want from him is turkey teeth. Kadinsky is cut from the same cloth as Sullivan. Don't forget, Terence Brown is still hanging around. Do you know what? I did see him in the crowd on Saturday. He was with Trevor Brooking. I don't really remember. I remember Terence Brown as the owner, but I don't remember all the backlash from it because I was only about 12, 13. I think when Brown, I think I was 14 when we sold Rio, right, for £18 million to Leeds. So I don't really remember the Terence Brown era as such, but and I was always watching the football rather than the ownership. But yeah, Terence Brown, mate, another wrong one. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to actually get some decent owners for once, but I don't think we will. My only concern is that if someone does leave, it's like we don't do a Birmingham on us and get rid of us to some fucking criminal. But we will see. We will see. What's that? Hope Brooklyn was sweet talking him into buying us a striker. Well, Joe, what? This is a good comment. Mark Wright obviously is after some free tickets. No, what he did say in the on that sort of fan channel thing on Sky Sports was that he's met David Sullivan and he said he's really nice and all that. You meeting someone and because they're nice, you think they're all right. Doesn't mean to say that what they're doing at a club is right. Do you know what I mean? I've never met David Sullivan, but I think he's a cunt myself. But that's just me. But it is what it is. Let's get to Matt. Brown run the club like a second-hand car dealer, but he wasn't a billionaire like Sullivan and Kadinsky. Yes, what I'm saying, mate. The only thing I remember was when they sold Rio and we bought in Rigobert Song and Titi Kamara. Fucking hell. Like, you know, fucking go and get £18 million, I think it was, for Rio, yeah, to Leeds. And then we go and get Rigobert Song and Titi Kamara from Liverpool. Fucking mental. So I can't take the orange West Ham supporters seriously. Other orange supporters are available. Um, Brown was tighter than Sullivan. He was, mate. He was. Well, I do remember that. I'm trying to get a transfer out of him. And also, do you remember Peter Story and all? Peter Story was the other one, wasn't he? He was the other one in there who, you know, um, always remember seeing his face quite a lot. Let's have a look. When is the next March? Apparently, they've got a load of different ideas coming up. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a sitting in a game from now to the end of the season. So I think the sitting sort of done well. I think that the protest. I reckon the next protest. I think it's Villa. If I'm having a guess, I'd say Villa. Villa's on the 14th of December. I don't think it'd be Liverpool. I think it's too close from the original one that happened the other day. So I think it'd be Villa because we've got what we got. We've got Man United away, we've got Brighton away, and then we've got Villa at home in a big game. So you know that's what it'd be. Uh, what else we got here? What else we got? gets his comment. Everyone involved should be proud. That was the same scene walking over that hill. United. Yeah, it's just everyone together, mate. And honestly, when I got sent that video, I was like, wow, like choked me a little bit, really, because I've always said that if you stand on this with this owner, um, like we will win. Like, I mean, you've got one man against about 75% of the fan base. I don't understand the people that are trying to defend him. That's the one thing that baffles me is I can't work out for love of money why you would defend David Sullivan. Like, unless there's financial gain in it, right? And I have noticed, and listen, if this is my final year on E20, and I do wrap this up at the end of the year because it's, it is what it is. I will go out fucking exposing these fuckers. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out there that are in it for their own financial gain. Sean comes out with something the other day, and he goes, "Oh, there's only between 1,000 and 2,000 protesters." And I looked at it, and I thought, give up, Sean. Like, why are you, still defending this dwarf twat? Like, why? Do you know what I mean? Listen, you're not blagging it no more. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not going to lie to us no more. We're not going to take your lies no more. And the thing is, and I said this the other week on this video, I turned around and I said, when I first started, people used to say, don't ever mention the board, right? And if you go back and watch a few videos from like 2-3 years ago on other channels, no one used to mention the board, right? The issue is now people are mentioning the board and the traction is very, very strong, right? All around the world, right? There's people in like Australia who's fucking like saying about Sullivan. Do you know what I'm saying? There's people coming over from Australia, Thailand, places like that, Brazil. Do you know what I'm saying? Even me today, right? I'm out and about up north and I'm like fucking West Ham fan now. And I'm thinking like the traction is strong. Like, I don't understand why Sean, and you know who Sean is like fucking talking bollocks still. And I even put a comment there. And I turned around and I said, I will buy you a calculator for Christmas, Sean, right? From Argos. You know what I mean? But like a $9.99 job calculator, because I tell you what, right? As a fucking journalist, because that's what he is, right? He can't fucking count. Do you know what I'm saying? Because there was about, I reckon there's about 10,000 people there on that protest. There was a lot. And you could just tell, right, by what, like the numbers. You've only got to look at that video that I posted up on the shorts. Yeah. If that's fucking 2,000 people, mate, then you know what I mean? I'm slim. No, I'm not slim. So, you know, I can't be dealing with people that keep lying for their own financial gain. And do you know what? When Sullivan does go, I'm going to say this quite openly. When Sullivan does fuck off from this club, I want these cunts to fuck off with him, because some of these people just ain't worth the time of day. They don't care about West Ham United. All they care about is getting their foot in the door, getting like the first bit of news, getting the first bit of clickbait, and getting that, the pound note. Do you know what I mean? Some of these people just ain't worth the time of day, and they need to fucking go with him and all. I'm going to be honest. Right, let's get to a few of your stuff. Matt says here that shite from Whetstone was pure Benji propaganda. You can hear Sullivan telling him what to type. It was fucking bad, Matt. Honestly, mate. And the thing is with me, I've had a debate with Sean before, and I remember a few years ago when I debated him on the West Ham Network. Shout out to them. And Sean started to like blow smoke up Sullivan's arse, and I put him in his place pretty quick. Because I remember times when like Sullivan wouldn't even pay for a plane to go to Everton for a League Cup game. Like 20 grand for a plane to take all the players up there. Don't forget, I think it was like it was a quarter final, I think it was, or last 16. Right, I can't remember where we was in the tie, and there was things like that. And Sean forgets all them sort of things, but I'm like an elephant. I don't forget fuck all, especially when it comes to Sullivan. So, you know, Yeah, not looking good, lads. Do you think we will pick up any points in the next 3 games? Bournemouth looks like they've dipped in quality recently. My bet, right? Bournemouth draw, banker, absolute nailed on. You want early Christmas presents? Yeah, get on that. I don't think we lose up there. I don't think we lose. West Ham going in and winning. I can't see it. But I think it's a banker draw. I think we draw with Bournemouth. I think we lose against Liverpool. I think Liverpool will go through us because defensively we're not that good. Um, Manchester United's a tricky one for me because you just never know what Manchester United are going to turn up. They either turn up and be a really, really good side, or they turn up and they're absolutely crap. It wouldn't surprise me if West Ham went to Old Trafford and got something out of that game. Yeah, and the Brighton one is huge because I think Brighton are a bit up and down. 1 minute they're good, 1 minute they're bad, 1 minute they're average. Like it all depends on what day you catch Brighton on it. That's the thing. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how we go. But I don't think we lose against Bournemouth. I really don't. I'm quite confident that even without Lucas Paqueta, which listen on Saturday I thought he was inconsistent all game, and he was lucky to still be on the pitch. But um, I don't see us losing against Bournemouth. Far from it. Look, of course, I would want 3 points, but I'd be take a point. I'll take one. I think it's 4 points out the next four. I think that's what we need minimum. I think we need to beat a side, we need to draw against a side, and I think we can accept a defeat, if not two. Do you know what I'm saying? And if we get more than 4 points, I'll be over the moon. Um, as long as we're not getting hammered in these games and we're putting in fight, then I'll be happy. What else we got here? There was definitely 3 times more there than there was at the last protest. I was at both. Yeah, there was tons of people at the last one, mate. But I tell you what, it's all the hard work of Hammers United. Simple as that. All the work that they've done in organising it, and much more professional now. Right, really, a lot better than usual. Let's have a look at something quick. What else we got? What else we got? So right, we discussed that. Have West Ham turned the corner? I think we. Do you know what? I think we have. I think we have turned a corner, but I don't think it's. I don't think we're fully out the woods just yet. The issue is that I feel like we're gonna have to grind out these results now, like massively. Like Burnley, we made Burnley a really hard fixture to win when it shouldn't be really that hard to beat Burnley at home, and we made it really hard. One thing I am going to say is Thomas Soucek, mate. Like super sub Soucek. Yeah, I mean, he's like 2 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. Fucking geezer's like always there, isn't he? And on Saturday, I thought he was excellent when he come on. Right, he's got that sort of goal scorer's instinct because that second goal against Burnley, like that's a goal scorer. That's someone who's like looking fully aware. If that's Krug, no chance, absolute no chance. And it's quite embarrassing, really, that Soucek looks like he's a better striker than Krug is. Do you know what I mean? So craziness. But he done good. He done good. Bournemouth got smashed. Could get a win against them, and Liverpool are leaking goals, so I could get a point there. It wouldn't surprise me, Darren. Like if West Ham get a point. See what it is with West Ham, yeah. West Ham always play well against the good sides when they're confident. So, for instance, Liverpool are shipping goals. I think also when we've got these games coming up, I think Manchester United, Liverpool, both got Europe. All right, they play a European fixture on like the Wednesday or the Thursday or whatever it is. So we've got Liverpool in there. Manchester United ain't got no Europe this year. I think Brighton's an hard our game. Like going to the Amex and trying to win that, it's going to be like mega tough because every time we go there, we just don't win. We've won once there since they've been up, I think it is, and that's the 3-0 under Moyes. Other than that, we just don't win there. Just don't win. Newcastle told me everything I need to know. We look like a Premier League side. That midfield is a top 10 midfield easy. Oh, I don't know about top 10, mate. Don't know about. Listen, I think it's a good midfield, but I think we've only seen it a few times. We've got to wait until we go up against sides that, like your Villas, like your Brightons, things like that. If we play against Brighton and Villa, and listen, we need Freddie Potts in this side. Freddie's the guy. Freddie's the missing piece of this season. It really is. Like he's the one that I've always said that we need someone to galvanise this fan base, and I didn't know where it was going to come from. I always said that getting rid of Potter, fine, it had to be done. Nuno comes in, but we needed something else. We needed someone in there who was going to get the whole fan base together. And I think Freddie can do. Like Freddie's done that. Like he's done that right now. What he's done is every West Ham fan from East London to America is all fully in backing in Freddie Potts. Right. And that's what we need. We need everyone together in pushing this kid forward. Like, and I think against Newcastle, he was unreal. I mean, like to come in your first like Premier League start to run the show like the way he did, I thought he was excellent. Against Burnley, I thought he was all right. Got out of position a few times, got injured. We've got to look after this kid because he's the one that we've got to make sure that he's fit. Like how calm he's on the ball, how composed he's on the ball. He does everything good. He does all the dirty work very, very good, and he makes it look effortless. Really, Brentford and Leeds team selections were a massive wasted opportunity. Do you know what? I honestly can't work out why he went down that why he went down that road though. That's the one thing. The one thing with Nuno, and this is where I hope it doesn't come back and bite us firmly on the arse. If we look back at it in May and go, them two games are the reason why West Ham are in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to think about that. But if we can get out of this trouble, right, them two games, hopefully, like, it's a learning thing for him. The issue is that I feel like them two games, we would have won them, would have been well clear. Do you know what I'm saying? I think with Freddie Potts, Paqueta, and Fernandez against Brentford, I think we win that game. Not fucking Andy Irving and Soucek, you know, or Dim McKaylee in January back out of time, but like he was a baller for us, mate. 100%. What a guy. What a guy. I would love to know what you guys think, yeah, in regards of basically why do you think he went down the Andy Irving route? Because that's the real question here. Like, I've done a video with Gio, and I'm going to try and get Gio on over the next sort of 2 weeks again to do another video with him. I do not understand when we discussed it 4 weeks ago, we turned around and said that we need 6-7 points out of the next four. We've got 6. But to go and lose them 2 games with Andy Irving as your starting player and Soucek in there, it felt like, I don't know. I don't know how you go from that to that. I don't get that one. That one baffles me. Really does. Let's get to this. Irving was looking good in training. I don't know, mate. Nuno said people are training well but not performing on match days and vice versa. So I think it's why he selected them for the Brentford and Leeds. Yeah, I think, yeah, but the issue with that, Darren, yeah, is that the Brentford and Leeds games were 5 days apart. So when you go and play Brentford at home and we got completely rolled over, right, I would have assumed you would have changed it completely around and gone, right, let's go a bit more offensive. Right. Against Newcastle, it was like, it feels like to me, he felt like it was like a free hit, right? This is a free hit game. So I'm going to go 4-3-3. I'm going to try Paqueta, Fernandez, and Potts, uh, Crescencio, Somerville, Bowen, Wilson up front. And it was like, we're not expected to win, but we're going to have a go. And it seemed to work. Like, he's basically, and I'm going to use this phrase, right? And anyone who knows me will know, right? He took the shackles off. He released them shackles and went, you know what? I'm just going to let the boys play, right? And they did. So, was it a bit of a blessing in disguise, or was it a stroke of luck from Nuno to go with that? I think it's a bit of both, right? I think he always thought about having a three-man midfield. West Ham are always better in a 4-3-3. I've always said that. I think in a 4-2-3-1, you've got to have a quality, solid defensive midfielder, someone who can get around the pitch. And we had that in deck. That's why we could play 4-2-3-1. With West Ham, I think 4-3-3 is the way West Ham should play, right? Two technically gifted players, someone who can hold the ball as a sort of central midfielder DM, and have two inside forwards, Bowen and Somerville, and obviously have Callum Wilson up front. You know, I don't know what he was trying to fucking do before. And even this says it all. Irving got a called up by Scotland. Fucking called up for what? All called up for what? He done fuck all. Let's have a look. James. Bournemouth just got smashed. 4-0 going into the international break. I smell blood. And I think we could get 3 points as we do play better away naturally. I think it's a banker draw, mate. That is where my money's going. Obviously, I want West Ham to win, but from a financial aspect, I think the draw isn't just nailed on. I don't think West Ham. Like, we've got no Lucas Paqueta. We don't know where Freddie Potts is going to be at. We've also got to get out of this international break with no injuries. I think the next 10 days are huge for West Ham. West Ham can't have any players coming back from international break with an injury. Simple as that. Anyone who comes back with an injury is like, oh, for God's sake. So we've got to remain hopeful that all the boys can get out of trouble, get back, get fit, and get ready for a big 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Like, we've got to get to January and not be massively adrift. Like, if we're still if we are 4 points adrift in January, I'll be over the moon. If West Ham are out of the relegation dogfight, I'll be ecstatic, right? But I'm expecting us to be at least 4 points behind, right? I expect them teams to pick up a win when we're playing teams like City. Like, we've got City at the Etihad, right? I think it is on the 20th of December. We ain't winning that, right? And then we've got 3 games after the Christmas, after Christmas. Fulham, Brighton at home, and then Wolves away. Them 3 games will decide it for me. West Ham have to get 7 points minimum at that. Need to beat Fulham at home. Need to not lose against Brighton, and we need to beat Wolves, right? Because I think Wolves are a sinking ship, and I think they will be every team's easy 3 points this year, right? So if we can get out of that, then I'll be relieved. I'll be relieved. But then it comes to January, and then it comes to David Sullivan. Then the only issue I've got with the January window currently is that I can't have this little fucker waiting around to the end of January. West Ham have got some huge games in that January period. As I say, we've got Wolves in there. We've got Nottingham Forest in there. Tottenham. We've got Sunderland in there and all. And we've got Chelsea right at the back end of the of January. I think it's the last day in January that we've got Chelsea away, I think it is. So yeah, listen, it's always going to be hard, man. It's always going to be hard. What's this one here? I miss your late shows in the summer, James. Remember the live you did when everyone was bantering the other James, the Moon Teletubbies? Yeah, mate. I will be bringing them back. It's just that I'll just do this on a Monday because it's quite calm, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Where it's international break, everyone's chilled, so you know Um, weren't players away on international duty when Nuno picked him? Uh, remember, mate. West Ham fans know more than the manager. I was quite concerning, but at least Nuno at humble pie. Unless he wasn't picking the team, mate. That's the only thing I can think of. Because you don't go from Andy Irving to Freddie Potts and then it automatically kicks into gear. Um, I think Wolves, Fulham, Burnley are looking very poor. I think Wolves are down. I think Wolves will go. I think Fulham. Do you know what? Fulham are a strange side, mate. They played pretty well against who they played the other week. Arsenal. I watched that game. They done all right. Um, they hammered Wolves at home, 3-0. They just can't win a game at the minute. And obviously they're a bit like us, whereas they've got a few points, but they're not really sort of kicking into gear. I think Fulham in a relegation a dogfight, mate. I think it's going to be about 7 teams in it. I think Brentford are surprising me this year. Like Thiago up front for them is just, you know, like what a signing. Do you know what I mean? Uh, if you want me to be honest, I think the opposite, James. I think the West Ham coach he's pulled Nuno back into the right direction, going back to 4-3-3. Uh, possibly, possibly. I don't ever want to see a back five again. Never. Right. Julian Lopetegui's back five was shocking. Potter's back five was shocking. Just back five just doesn't work. Just doesn't work at West Ham. And you know, we're we're not a back five side. We're a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2. Like you can't play attacking football by playing three at the back with wing backs. It just doesn't make no sense. Like unless you want to control the game, which West Ham can't control. I think Wolves, Fulham, and Leeds. I think Wolves will go. I think Burnley will go. I don't think Burnley score enough goals. I don't. And I think when they start getting hammered in games, that's when I think they will drop. Leeds, I think, might stay up. I think their home form keeps them in the league. It somewhere I read a stat yesterday. I was on the train coming up here, and I read a stat where Leeds have won like most of their points at home, but they don't win away from home. And do you know what? As luck would have it, our final game at home is against Leeds. Final game of the season is against Leeds. So we need to, as long as we're in the hunt, we'll be all right. But 2 weeks ago, I thought we was going down. January, the Dwarf will get a striker on a free, luncheon vouchers and green shield stamps. Oh, mate. Right, Cockney Charm was rolling back the years there. Even I remember them from back in the day. I will say that. Uh, I think he goes after loans. I think he gets 2 loan players in because I don't think West Ham will be in a position to go out and sign someone with the threat of us going down. Right. And this is the thing. If West Ham are in threat, this is why I'm a bit concerned about him waiting until the back end of the window. Does he wait to the back end of the window because, he might go, right, if West Ham can start winning a few games and get up the league, then it might attract players to come to the club because West Ham won't be in any threat of going down. That's the only concern with me with Sullivan. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got a feeling he's going to drag it though a little bit. He always does. Like we all know that we need a centre half at this club. We all know that. But we all know that we need someone who can actually header a ball. I think Tadibo and Kilman have been okay in the last two, but I think we need a bit better in there. We definitely need cover for the left wing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what we've got no cover on the left wing. Like, if Somerville goes down, we're going to do put Carl Walker Peters there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, need to do better. The better we do, the worse January spending is going to be. Completely agree on that comment. That's comment of the night from Irons TV. That is a valid comment. Um, if West Ham are in dire straits, then he will have to go out and pump money into it. If West Ham ain't, then he ain't. You say Guilherme though, right, Dan? Yeah, but I'm going to be honest. Guilherme's had three managers here, and no manager fancies him. Not one real manager fancies him at all. And I don't understand why he doesn't get no games. I want to see the kid go out on loan. And the thing is, the loan system does work. It does work because Freddie Potts has been out on two loans, and you know how good the kid can be. What Luis Guilherme's learning at West Ham is absolutely nothing at the minute. He's just not playing. Well in on calling out Alex Crook, mate. Every time he speaks about us, it's just pure lies. Do you know what? I listen. I was like, I'm not having this. I was like, fuck this, because what it is, it's just why. And I would love to ask him, say, why do you consistently put out stuff that is false? Like he puts out the rumor about Lucas Paqueta leaving, right? Like and Lucas Paqueta has to come out and say, no, I'm not leaving. It's a made up lie. But why'd you lie for? Like, is it because that you're trying to get interaction or what? Like, if it is, then maybe I've just got to take a step back and go, this is the world we live in now. And someone said it, Denzel Washington said it. It's all about people want to be first. Listen, people want to sell bullshit all the time. Like that for a laugh. I think we will get two Manchester United players we've been linked with. I don't understand the Kobe Mainu one. That's the one I don't really get. Yes, we need a midfielder, right? But apparently, if we get this man, he is going to be a guaranteed starter for West Ham. So whose place is he taking then? Right, that's the $1 million question for me. Because if he comes in and takes Freddie Potts' place, then I don't understand it. Like I don't understand what you're trying to achieve here. Like, how can you go and take Freddie Potts' place and then you're making the Manchester United player better? Do you know what I mean? Manchester United are the worst team to deal with, and we all know that through the Lingard thing and the Harry Maguire thing. Like they, when we was dealing with them with Lingard, they were like moving the goalpost every single time. And do I really want to make a Manchester United player better on a loan deal? I don't know on this one. I really don't. I hope that we don't just bring him in for the sake of just bringing him in. So, you know, Paqueta's out for the Bournemouth two, who does Souček starting midfield. I think he has to, mate. I think he has to. I don't think there's any choice in the matter. Right. Who else is there? Paqueta's out. Freddie Potts is out. Souček's going in midfield. So I think people need to be prepared for that one. Mm, 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 mm. All the old school lads coming out for the protest 100% created a much better atmosphere. My fear is if they don't come again, the atmosphere is going to drop in there again. It probably will do, mate. It probably will do. I think it will drop back down. The issue is that it's a statement, isn't it? That's what it is. Blimey, mate. I've lost 5 subscribers by doing this video, mate. Ridiculous, isn't it? 5 subscribers, dude. Are no longer E20 Zone TV subscribers. Well, thank you for that. Thank you very much. We don't need a midfielder. We need a fucking striker. Mate, we definitely need that. Nuno is doing all right at the minute, isn't he? Uh, right. Before I make a move, how would you assess Nuno's 5 games he's been in charge? He's had what? No, 6 games, I think it is. Everton, Arsenal, Brentford, Leeds, Newcastle, and Burnley. So he's got 2 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw in there. I want you to give me a rating out of 10 on basically what you think of Nuno. I think I'm going to give him. What am I going to give him? I think the last two wins have been good. I think the disaster against Brentford and Leeds was a fucking unreal. Um, Good point against Everton. Got beat against Arsenal. I'm going to say a six. I'm going to say a six. I think the Brentford and Leeds games are two of the worst team selections that I think I've ever witnessed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's absolutely mental. Like, so, you know, to go down that route of like picking that, but it'd be interesting what you're going to say. Start off with Irons TV, 7 out of 10. Leeds, Brentford was criminal. I completely agree with you, mate. I'll never forget that game against Brentford. I was away on holiday with the enemy, and I I remember watching that game and I was like, I'm stunned. Like West Ham was so bad, so bad. We've got a five, got seven. Sorry, got a five there. Glenn's saying a seven. Nuno so far okay, not great, but beginning to get there. Six. I sort of agree with you on that. Um, oh, online's come in with a classic here with this one. Rating 5 out of 10 so far. Leeds and Brentford awful, really really awful. Everton Muir, Arsenal Muir. The last two wins were good. I think you're doing a bit of a disservice to the Everton game. Right, I really do, Alf. There, and I'll tell you the reason why. He comes in, and obviously that's his first game in charge, and he, I think I done a watch along for that game. And I said to everyone in the members section, get on at the double chance. I don't think West Ham lose this game. And I thought we'd done all right. And if we'd have had another maybe 10 minutes of that game, West Ham would have won that game. We was all over them in the end. So a little bit of disservice there, Alf. But, we forgive you. We are improving under, I'll give seven. 7 out of 10. Got a lot of sevens here, mate. Seven. We've got 6.5 for Brian. Brian's not satisfied with that. Six is fair. Maybe a six. Maybe a six. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I think six is about right for where I'm at. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's a seven. I don't think if he would have went and got another win against Brentford or Leeds, I don't know what's more worse, the Brentford or Leeds game. I don't know what's more worse out of the two. I think the Brentford game just haunts me because when you see it, and I think that was the game after the international break. Well, we just had an international break, and he comes back and he plays Andy Irvine in the middle of the park. Like, and we're looking at it and we're thinking, what are you trying to do here? Like, and then to play the same team again 5 days later, criminal, really. From where we were when he took over, 6 out of 10 so far, but the improvements is plain to see. We've got here, we've got a seven. As believing Nuno as a manager is growing. I think he's galvanising the players, right? It just all depends on our. I don't know. I think it all depends on us, really, and some of these players individually. Uh, he's gone with a 10. Of course, he's gone with a 10. What we got here? Let's go down to the bottom. Leeds worse as he saw that midfield play against Brentford, and then he still implied it again. In fact, he made it worse by dropping. That's a valid point, mate. That is. Oh, mate, I forgot about that. Yeah, like dropping Fernandez and then you you bring in Andy Irvine and Thomas Suchet in a two man pivot, which is probably the slowest sort of. Yeah, why? Why do it? Um, Mad. The mood around the club with the fans was toxic, so I'm impressed. Um, I think the last two games have been good. I think he's. I think maybe he's stumbled upon what he's trying to do. Don't forget, he's working with the best that he can do at the minute. That like we can't question him or knock him on that. Like he's doing his best at what he can do. But I think a six is about right. Um, right before I go, points wise, next four games. Obviously, we've got a national break. We come back. We have got Bournemouth, Liverpool at home, Manchester United away on a Thursday night. It's like the weirdest sort of turnaround of games. We play Manchester United on a Thursday night, and then we play Brighton on the Sunday. Make of it what you make of it, people. Yeah. How many points are we getting? And also, I'm going to say this: Liverpool games on Sky. Liverpool games on Sky. I think Liverpool, Man United, and Brentford are all on. No, Liverpool, Man United, and Brighton are all on Sky. All three of them. So you know, peaceful guy is saying 4 to 6 points. I think it's 4 points, mate. Um, I can't see us getting 6 points. I don't see us beating. I don't think we beat Man United and Liverpool unless we go to Bournemouth and then we get something at Brighton. I just can't see it. 5 points. Got 5 points there. Let's have a look. 5 points. One win, two draws. Well, that will do. That will do. The next four games, we will get somewhere between 0 and 12 points. Well, I love the quick maths. I love the quick maths. Do you know what I mean? If we can get 13 points, that'd be great, but we won't. Um, but we will see. What else we got here? Also, Nuno doesn't have his coaching team around him. So he's done a half a decent job with this squad. I think he's wanted the team that he's got around him though. And I think the team around him has done pretty well. Like with integrating, obviously Freddie Potts coming in, like having his old man there, you know, that's helping the situation. One player that I do want to mention because I know Damien's just brought him up, um, is Crysencio Somerville. Now, for me, he has got to he's got to start having some end product, mate. It really does because he's got all the goods and he can be such a really good player. Just hasn't got the end product, hasn't got the final killer sort of moment. Um, it's been so many times over the last few games where I've looked at him and I'm thinking, come on, Cry, you just got to do it for us. And he just hasn't. Madness. Let's get to this. Thoughts on Ginger Tommy Robertson saga on X? Um, well, he's got half of the left wing community after him now. You know what I mean? They won his autograph. What's his name? Ginger Tom. So you know, is what it is. But yeah, and we've got peaceful guys saying reform voters are scum of the earth, but this is a man who voted Labour and Keir Starmer. So there you go, mate. There you go. We don't do politics here. We do love for the club. James, we have to admit Potter was pure shit. He made Loppy look like Pep. Yeah, but do you know what, mate? At the end of the day, it's it's just been a nightmare 2 years, isn't it? Let's be real. Like, there's no other way of looking at it. The last 2 years have been like sheer nightmare in regards of managers, everything. So, you know, somehow, if we can get my aim this season as a West Ham supporter is we've just got to get out of this relegation scrap because we're not out of it yet. We're far away. We're so far behind. It's unreal. But we've just got to make sure that we don't go down. Right. I don't care how, as I said the other day, I don't care how we play. I don't care what we do. Just win our games, get us out of this mess because we're in a relegation dogfight, right? And we've got some big games coming up, like Fulham, Wolves. They're big games, mate. If West Ham don't beat these teams, then we're back to square one again. What I want to see happen is West Ham to go to Bournemouth, win, play Liverpool, and play Liverpool with no fear. That's what I want to see happen. I don't think West Ham. I don't want to be negative towards West Ham. I don't think West Ham are good enough to go to Bournemouth and win without key players. If Freddie Potts and Paqueta ain't there, I don't think we've got the midfielders to go and run the show up there. Um, that's why my money's going on the draw, mate, all day long. Right, final few comments. Let's get to Richard Stevens. A little worried about Bowen this season. Flashes of brilliance, but it has gone missing for too many games. Do you know what? I'm going to say something about Bowen because this was mentioned on the afterthought the other day. I'm actually glad that he isn't playing to his standard at the minute, and other people are stepping up because Bowen's been carrying this team for far too long. Obviously, we're going to need him, and we need him to perform. But I'm happy that he is. He's trying. You know what I'm saying? But it just ain't clicking into gear with him at the minute. But if people like Thomas Souček and other people can step up to the plate, then great. Then great. Right, we can't keep relying on him just to score the goals for us. Let's get down to the bottom here. Shout out to Freddie Mercury, the man from Queen. What a guy. If we employed a good manager and not Lop, owner would never have done it. When Moyes left, we'd be flying at this moment. I think if we would have went out and really pinpointed the manager, I sort of agree. We wouldn't be in this sort of downward spiral. I think we've had the biggest result of our life having getting rid of Potter and literally having Nuno there waiting. Because if you go back to when we was basically getting rid of Potter, and just for argument's sake, Nuno wasn't there, who would have been the manager? There's not many names out there that people would have took. I still find it baffling that Sean Dyche is at Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest went from Nuno to Ange to Sean Dyche. Do you know what I mean? And Sean Dyche at Everton fans despised his football, mate, and despised everything that he stood for. So, you know, it would have been interesting to see where West Ham would have gone if Nuno wasn't about. So we are incredibly lucky that Nottingham Forest's owner went berserk. Like, I mean, literally, he went berserk and like got rid of him, and brought in Ange, which never worked. And do you know what? The people in the West Ham community that was asking for Ange Postecoglou, mate, I swear they wanted to relegate us because his football is like kamikaze air pilot. Like, you just can't. West Ham can't do that. Do you know what I mean? They would have had about 4 games of that, and they would have gone, "No, you got to get him out." So, well, I'm happy with Nuno because I look at him and I see a man who I think feels the passion of the club, right, and feels the passion of like wanting to do well. I think we've also got a man who wants to prove some people wrong, which goes a long way. If you've got a sort of manager that has got a point to prove, and something that Chio said on a video that I've done with him before, Nuno never left Forest because of bad results. He left because a disagreement with the owner. So we've actually got a good manager in charge. Do you know what I mean? And this is what we've been asking for the last 2 years, a good manager. Or we might just have it. Listen, his football might be a bit pragmatic, but who gives a shit? If he keeps us in the league and next year can build on that, then I'm down for that. I simply am. Um, all this style of play crap has to go out the window for me. It really does. I don't want Ange, but 100% would have taken him over Potter. I was desperate for Potter to go. I think there's being desperate for Potter to go, mate, but there's also being, what's the word? You don't want to just want to bring anyone in for the sake of it. Like, bringing him in, I think would have ruined West Ham. You know what I mean? No one would have got behind it if we started getting peppered by like teams and like absolute hammered. No one would have tolerated that for too long. Um, Hello, Lee. How you doing, mate? What we got here? Let's have a look. Nuno's got history of getting clubs into Europe. He'd be better than Moyes. Um, well, what we're going to see, ain't we? We're going to see if he is better than Moyes. But what I want him to do right now is keep us in the league. That would be that would be a start. I think he has got a lot of work to do to keep us in this league at the minute, though. I will be honest. Like, listen, I'm not getting too carried away about the two results, because down the road there's going to come a time where we're going to hit some hard fixtures and we're going to have to take some defeats. I think what it is with West Ham right now is we have to hope that these other teams don't get an advantage on us, right? And if that is the case, if we can get out of this mess that we're in, right, and we can get to January, then we're going to see what David Sullivan's all about. So, he's beaten Burnley and Newcastle, and he's better than Moyes. Well, Richard, are you not about to come on? You know what I mean? It would have been nice to hear your presence tonight. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Nuno is a modern Moyes. Do you know what? But does it matter? Right? Does it matter? Right? Does his style of play really matter? Like, because honestly, I thought against Newcastle, I thought we was excellent. I thought that's the best game I've seen West Ham play for a hell of a long time. Do you know what I'm saying? And we deserve to win that game, like from start to finish. I don't care, like, if he. I want me managers. I want West Ham to be defensively solid, because I don't want us to concede fucking goals. You know what I mean? But it's like Bournemouth the other day. Bournemouth literally going for it against Villa, right? Not playing the game, they're playing the occasion, right? They're going for it, and Villa just open them up at will every single time, and it ends up being a 4-0 at Amorim. Let's give a look what we've got here. I agree on that comment. Completely agree on that comment. Nuno is a good man manager. Yeah, Rich, if you want to come on, mate, come on, and then I'll wrap up. I think he's an excellent man manager. I think what he's done in regards of, and I see the video and the photos of like Souček and Bowen and all the players, and you just see Nuno there, and it feels like Nuno's starting to work his sort of, I don't know, work his magic maybe. Like, he's working something there. Like, he's getting us cooking at a right time, and that's what it's all about. Right, I'll bring him in 1 sec. I'll read this comment out. We've got a Cockney boy, Oz. Number one job is to keep us up, full stop. I completely agree with you there, mate. I couldn't agree with you any more than that. The aim for me this season is, don't care how we play, just win. Just get us to 40 points and keep us in this league, because I don't ever want to see West Ham go down, ever. Rich, you need to pull your camera down a little bit, mate, because I've got more light than I have. That's it, son. Nice one. Right. Bish bash. Rich, what you saying, son?
I'm saying hello. How are you?
All good, mate. All good in the hood. What? I haven't spoke to you for ages. What are you saying about Nuno and co?
I'm very happy. I'm a happy hammer. We've won the last 2 games, which is certainly lighting the mood. I mean, I was on the camp after that Brentford game. We got absolutely annihilated, and I was completely of the belief that there is no way we can stay up. And then the Leeds game compounded that misery. I think we conceded from a corner and just started terribly, partly because he was playing Ollie Scholes at right wing back, a position that surely he's never played before in his career. And fucking hell, we're in for a long season. But at the same time, it was a little bit like, well, look, maybe if he starts putting the, square pegs in the square holes, we'll be all right. And he's done that, and it's really starting to click. I mean, I like the football we're playing. The fact he's managed to fit Fernandes, Paqueta, and Potts into the midfield. It's a really lovely midfield. It really is. It's a joy to watch. I think we're not brilliant. I still really worry about the back line, but I think it's helped in that Newcastle and Burnley game. We've not conceded from the set.
But what's changed for you though?
Well, we've not conceded from any corners,
right,
which is different to the first 9 games where we conceded 9 goals. You're never going to stay up conceding.
But what I mean when I say what's changed, like we witnessed, and I think you was there at the Leeds game, right? we witnessed them two games and they was fucking shit. Like
Yeah,
West Ham were bad, right? And then you go from Leeds United away on the Friday to the following Sunday and play Newcastle and play probably the best game of football you've played for years. Like,
I think in terms of getting carried away, I don't know about the best football we played in leagues. I thought in years. I agree. We outplayed Newcastle. I thought Newcastle though were really poor.
right?
Totally. They were really bad, but you can only play what's in front of you. And I thought we played really well. I think Fernandes is starting to come a bit into his own on the team. He's got a nice link up with Piqué. I think that's his best 11. Potts coming in has been a huge lift for everyone as well. The fans in the stadium. I mean, the atmosphere.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Game was fantastic. It was like a European night. It was that good, genuinely, especially second half. And it's players like Potts, having players like Fernandes and Piqué passing the ball to each other. You can't help but get up for it. So I think that's been a really big change. But I mean, let's be frank. We beat and Newcastle aren't a very poor team. They've got some amazing footballers. I think we shouldn't downplay that result too much. But they were really off the ball. They were really off the ball. Partly because of what we did, but I think any Newcastle fan would tell you that's the worst they played all season. And I think we've beaten Burnley, which was a must-win at home, and we did win, and it was a nice game. But we're still in for a tough season. We're still in for a really.
Do you think we're in trouble?
Yeah,
I think
100%.
so. You like because with me, I'm like against Leeds. I thought we was going down. I thought that was it. I just witnessed it. I was like, no, this is it now. There's nothing about us, and we're going down. But obviously, we've got the back-to-back wins. What do you think in regards of basically getting to January? Where do you want West Ham to be realistically come January the 1st?
Outside the relegation zone, that's got to be the aim. I'd probably 20 points. Try and string another couple of wins together. I think December's a big month, but we've got kind of winter style players. The winter in the Premier League is always really tough. But I think your players like Thomas Souček, Jared Bowen, you lean on those players. Callum Wilson's bound to grab a few goals as well. I think I'm not optimistic. I really worry about our back line. I can't see those boys ever keeping a clean sheet in the Premier League. That includes all of them, to be honest.
Bit of a worry, though, isn't it, though?
Yeah, 100%.
Because obviously with the minus goal difference, that's technically another point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, we're going to have to try and keep a clean sheet somewhere along the line. Like, it's either keep a clean sheet or we've got to win games to clean. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's been a big difference in the last couple of games as we've scored goals, and we've had to do that all season. Every single game we've had to score goals in because these boys, every single one of them, all of them have their ailments. I mean, even Wan-Bissaka's looked off it this season, and he, regardless of what you think, him and Juve being out for AFCON as well is going to be a killer for us. I mean, I really want to get carried away. I love Nuno. I love the way he speaks. I really like that team that we're playing. I love the fact Potts is coming in, but still the main problems are the back line and there's no real fix there. There's no quick fix there. And I worry for January as well. I think that's got to be a key position for us.
What do you think is going to happen in January with Sullivan?
I think he'll want to scramble some money together, but it sounds like last summer, with all the loans and stuff, eventually Wonga are going to turn around and say no, aren't they? Let's see what happens there. I think his view, if we get out of it, if we're on 25 points, for instance, and we're this table could really level out. We're not going to be on 25 points come then. But if we're like 13th, I think he's not going to spend the money, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, mate.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. That's what worries me a little bit because if he gambles, he's gambled once already with Lopetegui and that's backfired. This is a big one now. Like if he gambles again and he gets it wrong, we go down. It's as simple as that. And it's a Nuno who's not a miracle worker. He's doing the best with what he's got, but he can't. He needs more than just that. Like one thing I look at West Ham, if you look at our starting 11 right now, Wilson, Somerville, Bowen, the three in midfield, the back four, Areola, that's probably our best team.
Yeah, I agree.
That's our best team. But then after that, you look at the bench, we've got no one else on the bench.
No one's got, not in attack, not in midfield, not in defence. None of those players coming in are good enough. Not one of them, apart from maybe Thomas Souček. But that's it, and that's really concerning. And the Igor looked nice, but I mean, he was the Brighton's fifth choice centre back. We're not talking about all-star talent here. He was a panic buy on deadline day. In terms of left back, Scholes being out for so long, hopefully he's back by the time Akron starts. But if not, then you've got a big problem at fullback. And then, like you say, the rest of the team, Areola's had a lot of injuries. Hermansen looks devoid of confidence for him to come in, but he's probably one of our best backups. You look up top, Wilson goes out. Fulkrug's apparently off in January, so we're going to need a striker. And even when he comes in, he's terrible this season. Then you've got Guilherme to replace Bowen if he goes, or Somerville. It really is worrying. So it's I think the phrase is a house of cards or whatever. It could fall at any minute. But I do think that team that they've got there, that starting 11, can cause a lot of problems for any team. And I like what he's doing with the subs as well. I think he's getting the most out of some of these players, but they're not top players by any means. Worrying.
I'm going to ask you a question. I got asked this the other day on the space. I had to laugh because it's pretty valid. But is Mads Hermansen the worst signing in West Ham's Premier League history in regards of he's had 6 games, he's cost £20 million, and he's probably never going to play for West Ham again?
I wouldn't be so sure. I think you can look at worse. Look at the geezer we got up front.
True, yeah.
Look at the sheer list of terrible strikers West Ham are signed. I think with Hermansen, he's quite a young goalkeeper. Keepers tend to peak around Areola's age. I think he's not going to decline in value too much. But yeah, I think we could really have done with that money now. The worst signings, you look at 25 million quid for Luis Guilherme. What could we have bought with that in terms of a ready-made Premier League player, especially in the situation we're in? That's a player that can't be called upon. You can't rely on him in the Premier League, and he's shown it. But how's he ever going to improve if he's not playing? I mean, there's a whole host of terrible transfer dealings over the last few years, but there's some really good ones as well. I mean, Malik Diouf looks like such a great buyer. He's been done on the last couple of goals we conceded, but he looks like such a brilliant little player. And Mateus Fernandes ran the show at the weekend, didn't he? He was just superb.
Fernandes is class, mate. Like I was screaming on X, and I was saying it on here. We've got to get this geezer in because he's a good player. And the thing is, if you pay, sometimes in life, right, I work on a quality basis, right? If you want quality goods, you got to pay the money. You know what I'm saying? And and I think what it is with the West Ham fan base currently right now is people are so used to Sullivan going cheap that they accept cheap when they should be going, no, hold on a minute, we're West Ham United, right? We should be going after the best players in class. I think Mateus Fernandes is going to be a special player for us, mate. I really do.
And what a player to learn with in terms of Lucas Paqueta and play with another Portuguese speaker. I mean, you look at him as a player. He's 21. How good is this lad going to be at 27, 28? I think he's got a touch of the Bruno Fernandes about him. The fact he's playing this well at 21 is quite incredible. And I think you talk about young midfielders. Alfie's right to point out Freddie Potts. What a player he looks, by the way. I mean, that going forward in defence, they talked about his experience in the games before. He looks like he's played 200 games. He looks so comfortable and clever, and he's great in the air, takes a good set piece. He's exactly what we needed. And you look at players like that and you just think, if Graham Potter had played people like Freddie Potts, he would have had a lot more time.
It does baffle me why he didn't play him.
I don't know, but I'm really glad he didn't, because I think Nuno's a better manager. I think Nuno's a great appointment, to be honest. I think we moved quickly on Potter, got Nuno in. That was really sensible. But he's still like we said tonight. I think he's got a really tough task. Nuno, it's not over based on these 2 games, but it's a great platform for the rest.
Yeah.
Of the
Before I let you go, I want to get your thoughts on the protest. What you say?
Look, I completely back it. I stayed in after the game for that sitting one. I kind of regret not going to Bournemouth as well. I think good call having a boycott for that game. I think it was great to see so many people out in their numbers. I think I was a little concerned with the imagery of a coffin with some poppies next to it. But I think in terms of the people running it, I've not got complete confidence in Hammers United. But uh, I don't want to slag it off because I think the people doing it are doing it for a good cause. I think they're absolutely right
I,
to
th-
do it.
I think
I'm,
Hammers United. I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Hammers United. I think Paul knows what he's doing. I think he listen. I've spoken to Paul privately, and this geezer loves his club, right? And he's a passionate West Ham fan, and he's been around the block and he's seen it over the years. I can sort of vouch for this geezer. I'd rather have him running this situation right now than
mm.
anyone on YouTube, anyone else. I trust this geezer. I do, and I
Yeah,
trust him
yeah, you can
wholeheartedly.
say that right. He's definitely better to run it than Nick Killington and co. But well, there you go, there you go. So look, I completely back it. I think pretty much most West Ham fans would be in agreement with this. We're tired of the ownership, we really are. And I mean, you see all the different stories. The supporters advisory board are putting a vote of no confidence. The walls are closing in. The media are reporting on it every single week. So I think let's keep the momentum going. And I tell you what I really loved, I think that protest, people talked about that affecting the atmosphere. I don't know who said that, but you couldn't be more wrong because I
Yeah.
genuinely, it got a lot of the old boys out the woodwork coming back to the game. There were a lot of faces around me who I didn't really recognise, but who were well up for making some noise. And I thought the atmosphere was absolutely rocking against the Burnley game. So keep those protests coming, definitely. So yeah, maybe I'll retract what I say about Hammers United, but yeah, keep them coming.
No, I'm going to be honest. Like before I let you go, I think we're in a good place. I really do, and I can't stress enough how confident I have in them. Listen, doing the coffee thing is it's a tongue-in-cheek Cockney sort of banter, right?
Mm.
But it's showing a point and it's proving a point to the media world that we've had enough of Sullivan. And before final question, how long do you reckon it'd be before he's out the door?
Um, I I don't know. I don't know. I think that the problem is it's still going to come. He's not going to sell up on the cheap. It's still going to be a problem of who is willing to buy. Um, but I think he'd be very inclined to sell if a decent offer came his way, no matter who that was to. So yeah, I think we can be optimistic, but let's see. Let's see.
I think he's got about a year, like about a year, 18 months. No, I'm being serious. I
Exactly.
think I think Sullivan will drag this out, and
Yeah.
I think what it is, I think first off, Brady will be thrown under the bus, because obviously she'd be the fall guy, like Stydon was, like every other person has been over the last few years, Lopetegui, Potter, everyone else. I think the next one will be so Brady will be thrown under the bus. And I think Sullivan's running out of people to do it. The only issue I've got, and this is the one thing I've got, is I do not want him to hand it over to his son. Because if he hands it over to Jack, just for argument's sake, he steps down and lets Jack take over, he's still going to be running it through Jack's mouthpiece. That's what it'd be.
I can't see that happening. I know you give it up anyway, but you're absolutely right. Can I be honest though? I tell you what, if you think David Sullivan's bad, if those two kids are running the club, we really are fucked. I tell you, we
Yeah.
really, really are fucked. Say what you want about David Sullivan, he's at least been sort of sharp enough to go, here's a bit of money at the right time, just about keep us up at points. He's made some decent decisions in terms of managers and sacking. I think he's probably the worst owner in the Premier League. I don't want to, speak too highly of him, but he's at least got some in there, a bit of football savvy. I mean, if those two come in, fuck me, it would be like Tim Steidem running your club. What was it? They used to do scouting on Football Manager and then tell their dad, "Can we sign him?" I mean, really, we're fucked if those two run the club. Yeah.
Yeah. I completely agree, mate. Right,
So,
Rich.
stay well. Please sell up. Yeah, that would be my
Yeah.
final message. But yeah,
No,
anyway,
no,
pleasure as always. Great stream, James. Take care.
take care, man. That has been Rich. Um, Before I get to leaving, because I was going to leave about half hour ago, but fuck it, I might just do an all night session. A little whisper is Sullivan's not in the best of health. Fans won't have the juniors. Um, yeah, but listen, it's all of a sudden he's not in the best of health, Sullivan. Right? It always comes out. I just don't think he's just going to sell up. Um, I think he's more likely going to resign as chairman, but we can't allow the Suns to take over, mate. Fuck it. Do you know what I mean? Um, let's have a look. What we got here? All night. You can win these subs back. Listen, if you want to subscribe to E20 Zone TV, go ahead. It help me out. But if you don't, then no worries. I think to round up this video, I put that video out of a march, and I've got just a load of people that like serious protesters like subscribing to E20 Zone TV. When they've seen my boat race come on the screen today, they thought, nah, sod that for a laugh, um, and gone from there. But you know, um, I have a word with my mate Elon. Well, what Elon Musk might be looking for a club, but you know what? That's enough from me. I am going to let you go and enjoy your evenings. Anyway, that's been a good stream. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV and all that. I will be back in the week at some point to discuss something to do with West Ham. But go and enjoy yourselves and have a bit of rest away from the West Ham world because we do need it. Because when we come back, we're going to be fighting to stay in the league up until sort of the end of the season. So, yeah. Anyway, much love to yous. Peace.